What we have going on is some extremism. It's called extremism in the youth community to demonstrate the weakness of the male gender, such as we want to just talk about Harry Sisner as the example of a man who doesn't act like a man. He acts like a woman who doesn't know how to talk man to man. So you got to go back into the old values of what the modern child man, a man boy, a child man, known as Harry Sisner or Parkers, who are trying, or even Cory Booker is an example. They're not real men. They're not able to have man-to-man conversations. All because they're working with feminine energy. It's important to understand what I just said. They live in utter fear, but it's displaced as fear. They're like living fearlessly, but it's disgraceful. It's actual fear. And so Harry Sisner and his attitude of like, I'm like doing this thing. I'll be at this interview like Friday and I'm going to be doing this and I'm working long hours. That's fear displaced. And then you, like, for example, if you were to walk up to Harry Sisner as he's it's just like, no matter what political party that you represent, the lack of respect for people living day-to-day lives is the focal point in what I just said. Whether you would be any form of political representation, however, the fact is that Harry Sisner, a pervert who fuels what he thinks is a seduction energy of perversion, he's actually gay. That's why men went to bathhouses. Men went to bathhouses because of Harry Sisner, and men like little boys like Parker. So they're giving him and feeding him the uplift of the empathy and compassion conversation, but he doesn't contain that in his physical body. So we live day-to-day lives having to go to work, and they don't work for a living. They work for the Democrats for a living to fuel what they care about, which is themselves. That's the whole political campaign of Kamala Harris, which is all gaslighting. All of it. Everything that has to do with the emotional aspects of what they're trying to create is disgraceful, disgusting. It's not American. It's how India is India. It's why the Middle East is the Middle East. We're literally watching terrorism in our faces, and we're not being protected. We're being violently abused. And so instead of being the abused, you become the abuser. That's Harry Sisner. So let's say that you work at Home Depot, and you tell Harry Sisner and his clan, his cult, do not put that on my shelves. The normal behavior for a kid his age would be to have fear, and then to say, yes, sir, and then take down the papers, and then go around and follow the rules and take the papers down. However, the disrespect of who Harry Sisner is, who he learned from Obama, and he learned from Kamala Harris, and he learned from all these people, this is crucial in what we're watching with what Kamala Harris brings to the table. Screw your policies at this point. Screw Kamala Harris's policies. They're nothing but garbage. They're all for the 20-somethings to stomp all over our democracy and our ways of living so that men go up to Harry Sisner. And then Harry Sisner, because he's got the backings of a Kamala Harris campaign, disrespects a human being, and he can't have a man-to-man conversation, nor does he abide by rules and laws. While he tries to RAPE people as he's walking by women, while he acts gay. doesn't have any feeling inside of interest in anyone else's, not anything, even if we're talking about normal conversation, doesn't have any interest in anything anyone else says, only looks for outlets to, this is literally learned behavior. And we saw this with Maha Abedin in Gary Vaynerchuk's conversation yesterday. Doesn't give two shits about what's going on in the room, but only looks for the opportunity to get you to agree to what they have to say within your emotional compartment, where they either use it currently in what they need from you, or they hold on to it where they can use it later. And it's always an abuse tactic against your humanity, while they in their mind, while they can succeed in finances or in politics to create a cult. This is all cult behavior. So their cult is the kind of cult that says you're a cult, but they're the cult. They're the disrespectful, airy softness of a fake conversation so that they can get what they want over top of an abusive conversation to smash your face in the dirt. So a grown man who's 65 years old who takes on a job as a hobby at Home Depot, where Harry Sisner doesn't realize he's a multimillionaire and has big connections with really important people. However, he doesn't see that because he only sees what he sees in front of his face. He doesn't ever look at the human person standing in front of him. He only sees himself and what's in it for him, which is a moment to overpower another human being, which fills his compartment up with power in his mind. That's Kamala Harris's campaign. That's why she's constantly, this has nothing to do with anything more in this moment of conversation about humanity. So what we're watching is the most narcissistic, disgraceful, garbage human beings, which I've told you, however, I haven't been able to reach your mind because they're so deep in your subconscious that you're still screaming out. These women would rather speak to a zombie. Like, we literally watched a video of a woman walking past somebody's Halloween. They love Halloween, I guess. And they have all these different, they're all wealthy, of course. She's the Democrat, reminding you. And they're walking by all these, violent characters as Halloween characters in their yard. And then there's a Trump sign in the grass. And the Trump sign is on the right. And then on the other side are all these zombies. She would rather have a conversation with a zombie than have an intellectual conversation with Donald Trump. Because a zombie is not going to do anything but play that game that you've created in your existence so that you live in misery while you call it joy. So they think joy is misery, and misery is someone else just being able to be themselves. So they like that control feeling of getting people to feel how they want you to feel so they can create this buzz. So that's where we are in society. So they used to try to give the buzz all to me. However, now I've figured out a way to give them back their nasty. And now they're all figuring out how to maneuver in that nasty, but they're really doing badly at it. So right now within the Democratic Party, they tried to project it onto Republicans, but Republicans are really intelligent. So we've projected it back onto the Democrats, and now they're within their own circuits roughhousing each other, and then still trying to figure out how to violate your human, like, they're killing the human spirit. They're killing the American spirit. They're killing people. Mona Van, every single day she posts a piece of content, is killing the American spirit, does not care. She wants this country to be all about money, fame, and glorifying herself, while you agree to her robe behavior, while she just throws out a piece of content on her TikTok page telling you that she's going furniture shopping. Again, a vicious circle of weird ass content that makes no sense. While Cory Booker says, get in, loser. He called you all a loser.